Did you know that there was an Avenge player feature in Valhalla? Well, there is, but high chance that you did not see it. Let's talk about this mysterious feature and how I think it's linked to that multiplayer credits section that you might know about. Or is there more going on? We also got a new end of the video idea, so a ton to go over. A like on the video would of course really help me out. And let's go. I already announced Robert as a winner for a recent giveaway for Helix credits, and he now tweeted about it as well. I always ask winners to kind of share that they won. There is still time to enter my latest 2300 Helix credit pack giveaway by clicking the link in the pinned comment, and the giveaway is for subscribers of this channel only. I'm announcing the winner in the weekly reset video very soon. Maybe you've already seen the Hall of the Slain Ubisoft Connect achievement. Avenge the death of 10 players. Yeah, I got 0 and you likely too, because there's something really weird going on with this feature. It is namely in the game, but it just never really shows up. We for example got Hyperion RD on Reddit saying that he had this once during a raid after 80 hours of gameplay. I don't think I ever saw it myself, but luckily we do have some footage from this feature from Dennis, who's of course working for the channel and streams every week on twitch.tv/JorRaptor. Totally check us out on Twitch if you haven't already, link in the pinned comment. Either way, he was first playing on his regular Xbox One early on in the game, and then when fighting many enemies during the Grand Bridge story arc, he encountered that player with like a mission icon above his head. Then when you interact with it, you get the Avenge quest for SCSK in this instance. And it's interesting that the console that this person who was killed is playing on is highlighted here as well. It's kind of comparable to recruiting Jumps Vikings, and with this system you can of course see characters from players on every platform, likely implying that this Avenge player system was supposed to have cross-platform play when it works. Now in the footage though, we get someone who's playing on the same console on Xbox, and after getting the quest, enemies nearby will get an icon above their head, and then you have to kill them. Because the idea is of course that the other player was killed by those enemies, so now you can avenge him or her by taking these enemies out yourself. And then once you've killed them, you have to confirm the kill by placing the X on the targets. And this is kind of weird to do on enemies in general, like you do that on the daily and weekly objectives too. But doesn't that mean that you take them to Valhalla? Like, I don't really see why Eivor would do that for many of the enemies. Sure, for the Drank gear I think it makes sense, but for the Saxon soldiers it also takes a really long time. And maybe you remember that Origins had this feature as well. I think it was working from moment 1, so immediately at launch, and it was just a fun extra. You would like ride around, see a blue skull that was easily recognizable, like it had its own dedicated icon, which was nice. Then you had to interact with the body, and then you immediately got the quest to avenge, in my case, Dr. Seaback 1. Why not? No platform indicated here because cross-platform was of course not a thing in Origins. And then by tracking the quest, you would immediately see the enemies that killed this player. In this instance, a patrol on a horse. So then I thought, let's do some mount combat. And I do kind of miss mount combat in Valhalla. Like, sure, you can kick, but the range is very short and you don't do any damage, so it kind of sucks. Like, being able to use actual weapons would have been better in my opinion. And I love how I'm actually blocking incoming arrows here by holding my shield. And then I was able to kill the target while his bodies just continued and left. Okay, goodbye. So then you also had to confirm the kill, only here you would just kneel, it would only take a few seconds, and then you already completed the mission and got some XP, 250, not bad, and then you could just move on with another objective. So going back to Valhalla, because the only YouTube video I could find about this was from NB Sunset, a link to his video of course in the video description. Here we actually see Mil Eivor also say some lines when finding the dead player.
The sheer force of these blows, bones ground to a splintered, gory mess. Northern strength at its finest.
And now you just have to look for the enemies who killed this player, and they were quite close by. And by the way, fun fact, the description of the quest, find and kill the perpetrators, is exactly the same as in Origins. Turns out NB Sunset already killed these enemies a moment ago, so just had to run back, confirm the kill by again putting the X on these Saxon soldiers, and then he got 100 XP for completing the mission. So again, really weird. This either wasn't finished when Valhalla came out, so they delayed it, but somehow it still showed up in people's games, or it is just bugged and doesn't work properly and Ubisoft did not fix it yet, which of course a possibility as well. And looking at the Valhalla launch date, I would not be surprised if that option is right. And I think that this is where the multiplayer part in the credits comes in. Like, there's a title with multiplayer and then multiple people who worked on a so-called multiplayer for the game, although the game of course doesn't have multiplayer and will likely not get it, although that would be a huge surprise, of course. No, but it's likely linked to the online player interaction via this Avenge player system or the Jumps Viking system. The upcoming river raids rely heavily on the Jumps Viking recruits. Players can hire Jumps Vikings from their friends online to take on an entire crew. So the February update will include quite some upgrades, including ranks for your Jumps Vikings. So I think the people working on the so-called multiplayer are like working on systems like this. I still thought it would be cool if like Orlok had a multiplayer component where you could fight against other players online. But Ubisoft noted that there were never plans for that, sadly, in an interview I had before the release. I totally think though that multiplayer will come back to AC at some point. Maybe if the next game is next gen only, then it might have multiplayer, but I think that Valhalla won't. Of course, your theories and input on the Avenge player system are more than welcome in the comments down below, or also if you found things, you can email me to the input@joraptor.com email address. And now I want to do something fun at the end of Valhalla videos. I have an idea for the Jumps Vikings, but I will wait for some updates because right now the system is still kind of lackluster. Before I tell you about the end of the video idea, subscribe for way more Valhalla content. A like on the video would of course really help me out. And you can watch my previous video on an amazing build that will help you a lot, I think, with river raids by clicking the bubble that appears now on screen. Okay, so now for that end of the video idea. Joyce, I need your help for this because, as people might know, you are a full-time editor here on the channel, but also a very good photo mode artist in games. And see some shots that you made right now. And the idea is that you selected pictures from the audience and then that we then highlight them at the end of Valhalla videos.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, cool. And you can send these pictures via our dedicated Valhalla Pictures Discord channel. A link to the Discord channel is in the pinned comment, or by using the Valhalla Raptor hashtag on Twitter. And of course, on Twitter @JorRaptor you can follow as well. And then we might talk about your shot and share it in a future video. Okay, Joyce, take it away.
Let's start the reel off with Shanks, who made Sunin the dragon shine while diving towards something. And the dragon skin is, of course, from the Niflheim set. Love the sun flare here going over the wings and with the matching colors of the sky and the pattern with the way the picture is taken. Sunin doesn't look so tiny anymore, don't you think?
No, it's really because it's like very nicely zoomed in, and I still wish we had like a dragon in the game to fight, but this is already still nice that we have like a cool bird skin.
I totally agree with that. Alright, next up is Reaper, and I absolutely love this shot. It's taken at one of the highest points in Asgard, and I know this because I went there many times myself, but I never thought of this composition with the Isu spear in hand and how Eivor poses while looking over the buildings, and including the lights in the sky that top it off perfectly. I love this shot. And let's wrap up this photo mobile with an action shot from Imminence, and I hope I pronounced this right.
I think that's right.
Alright, with Eivor fighting. Looks like the enemy didn't know what he was in for while taking him on. Love the composition with the tip of the weapon being zoomed in on a bit. Eivor's Jump Viking crew fighting in the back, and still a bit of blood spill left on the enemy after going in for the kill. Love this shot.
Yeah, great pick. Thanks, Joyce. And let's do this again in the next Valhalla video. And again, people can send in their shots by using the hashtag or by joining the Discord.
Sure, let's do it again.
Awesome, awesome. For now, we will speak to you next time. Goodbye.